Hello, everybody. Welcome to the mistakenly early, the mistakenly early live stream. I put noon in the email because I was writing multiple things at the same time and wanted to put 3 and put noon instead. I was like, well, we're just going to do it at noon. So we're here 3 hours early. Hello, Braden, Steve, Ian, Bob. Hey, half Korean. My kid. Why aren't you streaming? You should be doing your streaming and not being here for my work stream. We'll get into the nitty-gritty in a few minutes after people have a chance to jump in. I don't know how many people are going to be here, obviously, because we're rather early. Rather early for a stream, and I imagine there's a lot of people that are at work. Oh, you're streaming and watching my stream. This is going to be one for the ages. Oh, okay. So, let's see. Let me look at the metrics here. All right, we're a little bit behind. Okay, so let me regroup. Okay, so in the chat, obviously there's the pinned comment at the top. Go ahead and fill that out for the giveaway so we can get that out of the way, and then we'll kind of jump into things and I'll show stuff off. I have a ton of work to do. Might be a short stream. If it had been a normal time, probably would have been a short stream as well. So, hey, that's great news. Great news to get the message that your afternoon meetings have been canceled. I have a bunch of work to do on the new website. So doing this early actually gives me a little bit of time afterwards to wrap up stuff before we head into the weekend. Early start the weekend. That's a bonus. It's a bonus, man. That is a bonus. Like I was saying, go ahead and fill out the form at the top of the page to be entered to into the giveaway. That way you don't miss out. We got some mystery pins that I'm going to give away to some winners. Canceled mine. Well, hello. Okay. Now that I've kind of given a little bit of chance to people to jump in and whatnot, let's actually get into the live stream. So I had a bunch of emails about the new site. So the new site is like staged and basically ready to go. Well, ready to be tested. I'm finalizing. I need to add like 3 or 4 more products, and do a couple double check a couple plugins to make sure they're connected properly. Do some final tests here at the end of today, and then next week we're going to do a soft launch to the Pen Club members. So Pen Club members will have a chance to access the site, purchase some products, test out discount code functionality. There's going to be new product launched. Not the new pen yet. We'll get to that in a minute, but like new product in terms of like we have 2 or 3 different Cerakote pens that are going to go up with the launch. We got a brand new acrylic Vertex that's going to launch in a new color. So there's going to be several different new products that are going to be up on the new site. And a lot of the products that are on the current site are not going to be there yet. So it's going to be like anywhere between 10 and 15 products that you can purchase. Steve, everybody that was in last year's Pen Club was grandfathered into this year's Pen Club because we're just going to run them together because this website move We basically just were like, you know what, we're gonna combine 2015 and 2016 and then run it through, do 2 years, because I was working on this new site. I didn't want to try to launch a new pen club. There's a bunch of stuff behind the scenes that has to be, that I still have to figure out with the pen club moving forward in terms of like how we market to those people and stuff like that. So if you were in it last year, you're in it this year. And then we'll actually have another coin and do a full launch of the new club in 2027. So what was I going to say? So yeah, so there'll be like 10 or 15 products that are going to be available. Some old products that are on the site, a few, copper bolts, brass vertexes, some of the Cerakote pens that we still have a couple of. The majority, like between 7 and 10 products are going to be new, and then there'll be like 3 or 4 existing products that are going to go live on the new site. Basically all pens. There's not going to be any cubes on the soft launch. Those will come down the road as I figure out, just because I have to figure out how this site translates dimensional weight or dimensions and weight correctly, and the shipping rates and stuff like that. So just be aware of that. So if you're looking for a product like the cubes on the new, when we do the soft launch, it's not going to be there. The cubes and stuff and some of the accessories are going to be added in the next like 30 to 45 days. I just moved my screen somehow. Sorry about that. You'll notice my head suddenly moves around because I was trying to adjust the screen that I'm looking at and it got all wonky. So if I said 2016, I meant 2026. I apologize. So I'm like all over the place right now. I need to like really regroup. Hi, Kevin. So yeah, so it's going to launch the Pen Club. You guys will get an email. And in the Facebook group, there'll be a link. The static website address is not going to be Karas Customs. It's going to be like it's going to be a random Shopify address, basically. But it has the security certificates, all, like secure checkout, all that stuff will be up and functional. So there's, so just so you know, so if you see it, like if the link looks weird because it's like www.placeholder.shopify.com/ and then a string of random numbers and letters, that is the site. It's before we attach it to our existing URLs and remove our current Karas Pen Co site and swap them out. There's just a bunch of randomness that's going to occur. We don't have like a, in the past we've purchased like a placeholder URL, and I didn't do that this time, just because if this works, then it'll just, once you guys are done testing it, we'll just move it to the Karas Customs site. It is, trust this wacky link is something a scammer would say. But you know, yeah, sorry. You don't have to trust the link. So you'll get the link in your email. It'll go in a club the club only email next week, and then on the club Facebook group, the link will be added there. It'll be up we'll probably leave the site live for you guys to test for 24 to 48 hours, barring any issues. If there's problems right away, like we see some stuff, we get emails. If we get emails saying, hey, there's an issue with processing, or you guys say, hey, I didn't get this, that, and the other, we'll go ahead and move the site back, turn it off, and so take it down, work behind the scenes, and then we'll regroup and basically try this again at the end of next week or the beginning of the week after, something like that. If everything goes well, like it did with Everyday Keras when we launched that on Shopify, then it'll probably be like, it'll be up for 24 to 48 hours for the Pen Club members. We'll take it down, ship out your products, that your purchases, and then basically over not this weekend, but next weekend, we'll take down the current Keras customs, do all the connections, verify the DMARC, and a bunch of the DKIM stuff for emails, do a bunch of the behind the scenes nonsense of connecting Shopify to our URL, getting all that stuff run through the proper hosting, and then relaunch on the Monday after this next Monday. So like, I don't even know what day that is, sometime in May, the beginning of May. And I'm expecting that will be what happens. I don't expect there to be issues that will crop up, just because Shopify is kind of just vastly easier to set up and launch. And if there is even an issue that we have to address, it's usually something that we can fix quickly and then relaunch, whatever. So everything, I expect everything to run smoothly, but we want to test it with, 500 people as opposed to our entire newsletter and then going live and launching with like a Google campaign and everything like that. So, all right. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to move cameras and we'll show off. Here's some of the launch products. So this one's already up. The black acrylic vertex is on our current site. It will also be on the new site. We bought more of that product to get this back on the site. It's been like, I don't even know how many years, honestly, like probably like 5 or 6 years since we've had this product in stock, the polished black acrylic vertexes. So those are on the current site, but if you wait to buy it on the new site, when it launches, there is going to be a bunch of incentives for the club members that'll be active. There's going to be a coupon code to basically get you to sign up for the new built-in newsletter that we're running on the Shopify account. We need you to do that because we will be sunsetting the current newsletter software as quickly as we can, so that we can save some money, because the newsletter software that we have is relatively expensive. And because Shopify runs on an onboard newsletter system, having you guys sign up for that will end up saving us money. We won't have to pay for it. Keep you guys in the loop, and we'll be able to initially tag you this. If you sign up with that during this soft launch period, you'll also be able to be tagged as an existing Pen Club member. But you'll get so you'll have early access. There'll be the newsletter sign up with a coupon code that'll get you some discounts on the products that we're going to launch with, and then we'll launch with a rewards program similar to the program that's on Everyday Keras. You can't use them they're specific to each site. So the version that we're going to have on Keras Penco, Keras Customs is going to be different, but similar enough in a way that as you purchase products, you'll accrue points that you can use towards discounts, or I think we're actually going to implement like free pen potentially, like at a certain level too, to members that have bought enough product, stuff like that. So these are going to be, so the other two products, so the turquoise Cerakote dragon skin modals, and we have a pocket modal version as well with the dragon skin in the turquoise Cerakote. Those will be available on launch. And then the far right is the latest European resin. We're calling that the Black Sea. I'm not sure. I looked through all of my information on the last purchase we made from Turner's Workshop, and I couldn't find the specific company, manufacturer, or name of this specific acrylic. I believe it's Aeronoid. I'm not sure which one it is. Machine's really nice. It's super easy. It was super easy to machine and awesome to polish too. So it's really unique. It's got the blue, turquoise, silver swirl in through black. Looks really awesome. We'll have those on launch. You'll have a selection of grip sections to be able to choose from those. So that's going to be like launch product. There'll be like 3 or 4 other Cerakote items. There'll be 3 or 4 other Cerakote pens, some in turquoise, some in a couple other colors. It just depends on how many we can get put together before the launch. This will be the only new Vertex that we launch with, but there will be in subsequent weeks. We're like cranking them out in the back. Tommy's like polishing furiously on the different materials that we have. So we've got several new Vertexes in different resins that are going to be coming in the subsequent weeks. But yeah, there'll be a variety of products. Depending on if you're a fountain pen or a rollerball person, there'll be something for everyone, as people like to say. Okay, let's go with this one. Okay, so I teased this in the Facebook, the Pen Club Facebook group. This is, well, when we manufactured the last batch of titanium bolts, we had about 200 of them that didn't get manufactured, didn't get machined correctly right away. So, and we were so strapped on time to get other product machined that we basically binned them all up, set them aside, and we're like, you know what, when we have time, we'll come back to these bolts and fix them. So there's a variety of different reasons on why some of them had machining problems in terms of like the surface finish was not fully machined because we had a tool that got chipped that we could go back and remachine. Some of them had the clip threading was off. It was not done correctly. The tool was bad or the alignment was off, whatever. It's kind of a bunch of different random stuff. So it was about 200 of them that required additional machining. So we basically gotten all those together, done the machining, and then we went ahead and basically decided we're gonna do 100% titanium bolt. So the screws, these are knife fasteners. They're titanium knife fasteners with the T8 Torx. Side screw is also a titanium knife fastener that we've got that fits in there. And then the clip is based off of our current clip. It's obviously different. It's wider at the top. It tapers. It has a slit in the middle of it. It's stamped titanium. Part of the reason it has a slit is to give it a little. Titanium can flex, but it can also bend and then misshape. With the slit in the middle, it kind of allows it a little bit more flexibility. In order, so when you put it in your pocket, it's not going to stay, like, it's not going to bend and stay bent out. And if it does, you can easily remove it, bend it back. But we had those, the clips were water jet, and then we hand bent them in-house. So we built a fixture to hand bend them. So technically they're not stamped. They're water jet, and then we went ahead and manually bent them with a fixture that we made specific to this. So like I said, I don't know that there's going to be 200 of them available, because some of them we were not able to fix. The problems that they had made them non-functional. So as many as we have available, as soon as we get, it's a long process to bend the clips. So we have them all back. We have to bend them all, and then we have to tumble them all. And then we have to do some hand work on each pen to deburr them in order to assemble them. Internally, they have to be deburred with a special tool. So this is probably 2 weeks from the site actually launching. We're probably 2 weeks out on this being available. But we wanted to go ahead and give you guys a heads up that this is coming. It's going to be limited. I don't know, probably like 120 to 150 of these total. And then kind of, we're going to pause. This will be the last titanium. We don't have any more titanium in stock in terms of pens to fix. No, that's not true. We have some EDKs and some retracts that also need some hand work done on them, or remachining done, that they might sporadically come through. But we don't have any titanium material, and the price of titanium is significantly higher than it was before. So until titanium comes down in price, or we find an alternative, we design a pen on based around a titanium tubing that's cheaper, something like that, this will kind of be the last big titanium product release that we have. We may set some aside to do some flame work on in the future, or some anodize in the future. Okay, let's go to this one. The RKiV is going to be is the newest pen that we've come out with. We've been showing it off and teasing it, talking about it for 3 or 4 weeks now, something like that. I don't know. And this is basically going to be the replacement to the EDK. I should have grabbed an EDK. I might have one here that we can put in there, and then you can see. I don't think I have one. Okay, so different design, similar design, but it's kind of, we've had a lot of requests to make pins a little bit slimmer. With different features. So give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. I'm gonna have to step out for a couple minutes because we have a customer, a business customer coming by. I didn't realize that they needed to do a pickup. So anyway, the RKiV is basically a combination of a few things. One being, we had people that asked if we could do slimmer profile pins, more traditionally like styled pins. So we basically, when we discontinued the retract and the EDK, we kind of decided to look at melding the two of them together, as well as taking some of the stuff that we did with the modal or the basic and applying it to this pin. So this is a single piece pin. There's no seam in it. The way that you remove the refill is you take off the clicker. So this just unthreads. And then you can remove the refill and put and replace the refill that way. This allows us to only have one SKU instead of two different SKUs for these two parts. It allows for, it removes the problems that we've had with materials being machined improperly, or it does not launch the refill across the room. So it doesn't do that because there's no pressure on it. So thankfully you won't have to worry about that. It makes it so we would frequently have times where we would send parts out for anodize and the bottom and the top would not match, even though they were anodized together. This removes that. So we'll have a lot less anodize problems. We have a lot, it basically removes a lot of loss from the product. Besides the changes in the shape, this has, it's really difficult to see. This has 3 rings that are wider than this and have texture in them here. This shiny black is going to be the initial launch version of this pen. And I guess the other big thing that we're announcing with this is this pen will be as close to 100%. Well, besides the click mechanism, every other part that's on this, the screws, the clip, the click the spring, and the refill are all going to be American made. We've decided to go ahead and include the Fisher Space Pen refill with this pen, and basically contacted them. It's not like a partnership. They sell to a lot of different companies. We've been in talks with them for about 6 years now, and they've said, they had a representative come here and be like, hey, why don't you use American-made refills? You're an American-made company. And it just wasn't one of the things that we did at the time, but we're going ahead and launching this product with the Fisher PR4 refill as the included refill in here. The only one thing that this does not have that the EDK did have is this pen does not allow for use of the Schmidt P8126 refill. The upper body, the hole that the refill goes in, is not big enough for the larger diameter of the P8126. So there is that thing that there was a little give there. However, that refill is problematic with this click mechanism, because if it's in your pocket and that gets clicked out, the P8126 will wick away all over your clothing. With the P81, with the Fisher refill, it requires pressure, or any ballpoint refill that doesn't have liquid ink requires pressure to be able to use for the ink to come out of it. And because we're designing this based off that kind of, this is a pen that's meant for a filled pen type thing, a carry anywhere type design, it just made sense for us to move away from the P8126. The P8126 is still going to be able to be used in the pocket modal and in future pens that we release that don't have this style of click mechanism, to keep your clothes from being ruined. It's a lot of feedback that we got is, oh, my shirt is ruined, or my pockets or my pants are ruined, or my purse is ruined because it leaked everywhere. With the Fisher Space Pen refill, that's not going to be the case. So that's kind of where we're at there on that one. Okay, so I need to go unlock the front door. So we're going to pause, and you can stare at these, and I'll come back. If you think of questions, please drop them in, and I'll answer your questions as soon as I get back. Oh, I don't have any waiting music queued. So what was I going to say? So this pen will not launch with the site. We have not received our shipment of the Fisher Space Pen refills. We're still building these. We're still assembling these. So I would imagine the RKiV in brass to launch, not with the soft launch, maybe a week after the main launch. It just depends on when we get our refills. Like, realistically, if the refills show up, I haven't even got a shipping notification from them. So I would expect the refills to get here sometime at the end of next week. And then we'll assemble these pens, put them up. We're still kind of nailing down the specifics on pricing. I would imagine it's going to be a little bit cheaper than the it's probably going to be a little bit cheaper than the EDK. That's the goal, is to get it to make something that was a little bit more cost effective. Making a one-piece pen that has less loss does that. Fewer parts that we have to keep on hand, fewer SKUs, easier to anodize, all that stuff. The refills are significantly more expensive. Fisher refills are about double the price of Schmidt refills. So there is a little bit of extra cost in the refills, but as soon as we have final pricing on these, we'll go ahead and get it to you. And there will be other, we're going to do this pen in brass and in copper and in, other materials and other colors down the road. The reason we did the black one, a black pen is kind of a standard. You need to have a black pen, an all black pen. So we sent this out as for the all black version for launch, and did the shiny version is kind of like the throwback to the black retract that we launched. We did full color retract launch. It just looks nicer. A lot of people, surprisingly enough, a lot of people will buy a black pen with silver accents that don't buy pens, don't normally buy expensive pens, because they're used to seeing plastic black pens with silver accents. Like, like the Sharpie S pen has, a silver like knob, quote, silver colored knob. So this is just kind of a traditional color scheme for a standard version, which is why we went with this. We are going to be doing some more muted colors. We don't have a way to convert easily to a mechanical pencil. We've attempted to do that in the past with some of the different Schmidt refills, plastic, the Schmidt mechanical pencil inserts that are based around a Parker refill architecture, but they don't really work well. At this point in time, that's not something that we can easily accomplish. All right. Okay, what's next? I don't really have a lot else to go over. So if you have questions, I can answer your questions. Please fill out the pinned form to be entered to win the giveaway. We'll do the giveaway at the end of the live stream. I'm still waiting for the customer. I unlocked the door, but if I have to leave again, that's why. And I will have to leave again because she is on the way. So if you have questions, I can answer questions about the new site, about new product, about old product, about upcoming stuff on Everyday Keras, whatever. If you have any questions, no, we don't have any zirconium. I'll just head that off at the pass because I feel like somebody was going to ask that question, because they always do. The fountain pen, the reactor series, the roller balls were the Galaxy and Galaxy XL, and the fountain pen was a Starliner and Starliner XL. The next KVC is going to be, I believe, next Friday. I think they're filming it right now, and they'll be editing it over the weekend or into next week, and then it'll be launched next Friday. Well, I mean, Kelsoid, there is no other U.S. manufacturer of refills. However, it will still use the Schmidt EasyFlow 9000. That's what's in mine. That's what I prefer to use. And we'll offer that option as you'll be able to purchase it with the Schmidt if you don't want the Fisher refill. And we'll probably end up purchasing a couple other ballpoint refills to offer if we can get them in bulk. So some of the other options that people like to use for ballpoint refills. So it's not only, that's just going to be the launch. We've been asked for a long time to use those, not just by Fisher, but by a lot of other people. So I understand your hesitancy to using it. We just get a lot of people that ask for it. If you want to purchase it with a different refill, that will be an option. One sec, I'll be right back, guys. Okay. So you're not locked into the Fisher refill. There will be other options for other refills on launch, including the Easy Flow in blue and black. And then we're going to expand to other Parker style refills to carry some of those. Just makes sense for us to offer other options because we understand that people don't all like the Fisher refill. Like I'm a fan of it in certain circumstances. I'm not a fan of it in other circumstances. I use it in pins that I would write, you know, in a certain situation, like a pen that I would carry in a backpack. But it's not my preferred refill, but we get a lot of people that ask for it. So we're going to go ahead and offer it as an option we never have. The goal is kind of to start expanding some of our newer pens to alternative refills. So we're probably going to be offering some pens with Pilot Precise refills, like built around that architecture. We've looked at some mini rollerball refill options to make a smaller sized pen that would still use a rollerball architecture. So there's a bunch of stuff like that. So, Steve, I don't think we're gonna have any titanium fountain pen nibs in the near future. Again, a lot of this has to do with price. They're just really, really expensive now. Like, our wholesale cost has doubled on the titanium nibs. And they just are not, it's just too expensive for us to keep them in stock and not have that capital available to be used somewhere else. So, not for the meantime. Braden, which basic models will get the brass iterations in the future? I'm not 100% sure yet. Bill and Josh and I will probably sit down once the new Keras site is up and running. I imagine we'll sit down and kind of plan out products for Everyday Keras and for Keras Penco. Part of the reason that we don't have a lot of new basic products coming out right now is we're working on a new pen for Everyday Keras, a different pen, a ballpoint, smaller version. That's we're finalizing prototyping on it right now. So it's going to be shorter. It's going to be a little bit skinnier, similar architecture to the basic, but probably different external features. So I would imagine if we have brass basics again, the next time we'll have brass basics going to be mid to late summer. And by then, it's probably going to be the more popular versions of the ones that we haven't done. So I would think probably if it were up to me, probably like the 6, 7, and 9, which were like 3 really popular versions. So we did the 1, 2, and the 3, probably the 6, 7, and the 9. So probably those, but it really depends on, which ones what we would decide to have next. And if the price of copper comes down, we might end up adding a copper release before the end of the year. But the problem is the price of copper is like, we went to purchase copper for the basic bundle. We priced it in the beginning of February and was like, okay, that's fine. It's normal price. We'll get it closer to when we need to machine it. Went to price it again, and it had gone from $1,100 to $2,400. And the only way that we could get the $1,100 price is if we took delivery in September. Copper is just an extremely short supply and high demand. It's used in multiple different industries, one of them being data centers. And supply chain interruptions don't help with that either. So it's extremely expensive for us to get copper, and brass has gone up. And right now, aluminum's, there's an article right now on aluminum, like a black swan event for aluminum manufacturers, because you're literally, if you get a quote on aluminum, the quote has a timer now and it expires because aluminum is in such high demand too. So we'll see. Like, it's everything right now in terms of manufacturing is kind of in flux for us. We can't plan too far ahead. We'll plan like, okay, let's plan this and see how much it's going to cost us to do these products. Like, we're still trying to get bolts back in stock in aluminum, brass, and copper, because we're completely out of aluminum and brass. I think we have a couple hundred in copper. So it's like playing chess right now in terms of, like, you have to be really strategic we have to be really strategic in what we're going to buy and how we're going to move forward in terms of manufacturing. We really have to reduce any product that we would potentially have a loss in, machining loss, anodized loss, any of that stuff, which is why one of the reasons we're adding these one-piece pens, because external loss is dramatically decreased with pens that are single piece, because the anodizer just doesn't mess them up as much. We don't have to match them. Like, we get that whole batch of all the black pens that we got back in anodized. We had like one that had an anodized problem on it. It was a chip because it probably got dropped afterwards, as opposed to like 20% of the batch not having the same black colors. It's being lighter or darker or whatever. So we're just being a little bit more strategic in what we purchase, how much of it we purchase, and a lot of it is based off of what we know we can sell and what we can afford to, like, potentially, like, okay, we're going to have to, like, whatever we have to do, like, a lot of titanium stuff is just not going to happen here in the short term. Price on the titanium bolt, I don't know for sure on the price on the titanium bolt. The original ones that were not all titanium were $120. I would imagine it's going to be $130 to $140, just in terms of, like, the cost of the titanium fasteners and the clip. So, but I'm not positive. I don't know for sure. I don't think it's going to be more expensive than $140, but it's going to be somewhere between $125 and $140. Yes, here's to hopefully prices coming down on some stuff. Pricing has adjusted in the past. Right now, it's just everything is a lot more expensive. But it's one of the reasons why it spurred us into looking at alternative ways in which we manufacture our products, like the one-piece pens specifically, the basic design just being far simpler from a design's perspective, a finish perspective, it not being as crisp, so we can manufacture them faster. to keep pricing low. These are all methods that we're attempting to implement so that we can be as competitive as possible, and maintain this business, as opposed to, I mean, if you're in the pen community, if you look at other pen manufacturers, I think a lot of the pen manufacturers, especially the big ones, have implemented 30 to 50% increases in their pricing this year. So not like businesses like us, but I know a lot of the big fountain pen, every single year they've done price increases. And I know this year I still get some emails, and some of them were significantly more expensive, like a large increase in the price of their products. And we're just kind of making decisions to move into products that allow us to keep our pricing the same or cheaper, however we can. So actually got this. I saw some folks mention Ti-modal. No, so people are mentioning the Ti-modal. The Ti-modal is not going to happen. We just can't. Again, that product specifically requires titanium to be far cheaper. Unless you want to spend, like we would, for us to be able to do a titanium modal, it would have to be all of $200 a titanium modal, because the clip is so time consuming and the upper body is so intricate and time consuming. Those two parts have like double the amount of time as our normal like bolt does in terms of machining time. Like the clips themselves they take an exceptional amount of time to mill the clips. So we just don't, we're like, we want to be able to make stuff that people want to buy, and we know people want to buy a titanium product, but until we can figure out a way to make titanium product that is I don't even know the word to use, that like priced competitively, we would have to find a way to, we would have to design a pen based around a significantly less expensive titanium model that would potentially utilize tubing, which a lot of manufacturers use tubing. A lot of the other pen companies use titanium grade 2 tubing in their pens to reduce cost. So we would have to design a model based around something like that. And that's just not something that we have done yet. It's not out of the realm of possibility that we would do it. So like that is realistically, like if you look at a lot of the titanium pens that are on the market that are still under $120, if you look at the way that they're manufactured and really take them apart, it's because they're using grade 2 tubing. Or some of them are manufacturing their product overseas, which they're gonna maybe not save money right now because of potential like tariff issues, but like in the past, you could shave a lot of cost in having a titanium pen made overseas, like Refine Pens or any of those companies that partner, that are basically a design company from the United States that have their manufacturing done overseas. There's nothing wrong with that. Like honestly, like a lot of those products are super quality. Like they're not bad quality. They're just not, they're not going to be finished the same way that we finish ours. They're not going to have the same, potentially they're not going to have the same quality control, or if you do have a problem, customer service potentially that we have. So, but they're still going to function fine, and a lot of them are, perfectly acceptable if you just want a pen that's, not a plastic pen. It's just not something that we're going to do. We're not going to manufacture products overseas. We're not going to outsource products overseas. The most outsourcing that we do is just partnering with companies that make product that we can't make. We don't have a stamping facility, so we're not going to be able to stamp our own clips in bulk, or we don't have the capabilities that Schmidt has to make the click mechanisms the way that they do. This is the one product that we've outsourced, kind of, in terms of having these plastic refills molded, and then we take them and then finish machining them here. So it's a two-part process, but it allows us to make these because these can be molded in the thousands, and then we just finish machine them here. And it allows for the finish, because the outside, we don't do machining on the outside really. We just barely, it's skim cut, so it polishes off really well. And then the internal threading and everything is super easy for us to do it in-house and fast. So this allows us to keep the cost on these and having them molded, but they're literally, it's a 5-minute drive to our molding company. Like, they're literally in the same zip code as we're in. So that's the type of outsourcing, collaborating that we do on our products. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. Please, if you haven't completed the giveaway form, please complete the giveaway form. And then I will pull that and we'll run the giveaway here in a couple minutes. And if you have any last minute questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat, so I can answer your questions, or attempt to answer your questions. Excuse me. Oh, no. Any more questions? I don't want to be like a bummer on everything. It's really difficult sometimes. I'm like, yeah, we want to do all this stuff. Like, we wish we were still making titanium pens. We wish we were still had titanium and gold nibs. Like, not having that stuff in stock is more just because the volume of people that have purchased those has gone down significantly. And so investing that capital in those products to not be able to sell it as quickly is just, it's just not really, it's not something we can do right now. As soon as we can do that again, we'll go ahead and bring those things back. Okay. Copy. Paste. Yeah, Shay, often I give way too much insights on the behind the scenes business. I can get in the weeds on a bunch of that stuff. I wish it was better news, but it has prompted us, like I said, like supply chain issues and an increase in pricing and the unavailability of materials have prompted us to move in the direction of like everyday keras and the basic and the RKiV, and it's made us be innovate in different ways, what we would consider innovation. Like, we're not innovating in terms of like creating something that's like groundbreaking and new. We're basically changing our business model a little bit away from what we did 5 or 10 years ago, which was like moving to premium product. But instead we're like, hey, you know, what can we do to make more affordable product and still make it in-house? It's a business decision that I don't know that a lot of people would even consider doing. Like none of our competitors, like this type of competitor, have taken steps that I've seen to move in that direction. A lot of them are still launching Kickstarters and using Kickstarters as a way to launch, you know, to get influxes of cash all in one go. With new or existing product that's slightly different, stuff like that. None of them have gone the same route in terms of like, let's try to launch a budget sub-brand and find ways to make product more affordable, or in terms of some of the product to take less margin. So that's kind of, you know, I don't know, like it's one of the things that just hasn't happened yet, but maybe it will. Maybe we'll see some other people that try to do that. I don't know. Maybe they just can't, or they haven't thought of it yet. I know that it was something that Bill and I landed on at similar times, but without talking to each other. Like I came to that realization probably 6 months before we launched Everyday Karis. And it was like, well, maybe not 6 months, maybe like 3 months before we launched Everyday Karis, sometime over the holidays in 2024. It was like, maybe we should try to do something like this. And then when we came back from our break, Bill came to me in the shop one day and was like, hey, what do you think about doing something like that? I was like, I was kind of thinking the same thing over the holidays, that it might be beneficial if we tried to develop a product line that was significantly less time consuming, less expensive. And that's this kind of the same thing that we landed on when we decided to retire the EDK and the Retract. We both separated from, like, I was thinking about, hey, we should probably like see if we can redesign this product cheaper. And then he kind of did the same thing. Like a couple weeks later, he came to me and was like, hey, I've been thinking about this. I'm like, yeah, me too. Like, I'm always thinking about stuff like that. My brain just kind of works on ways of looking at the market and looking at the pen community and seeing trends, and he kind of comes about it from a manufacturing standpoint, but also as a business owner, just like, I've been running the numbers and, you know, we think we can do this or whatever. Like, so this is not out of the realm that we've done this, that he and I have frequently kind of come to this conclusion around the same time, but separate of one another. Well, like, hey, it's funny how many times that's happened with the two of us. So, total different mindsets in terms of what we're looking at to bring us to those conclusions, but we're usually on the same page in lockstep when it comes to like those decisions. One of the two of us might just be a little bit ahead of the other one. And there's been times when I brought up stuff up to him and it's taken 8 months for him to be like, okay, yeah, like we should do this, or vice versa, where he's come to me and I was like, I don't know if we should do that right now. And then, you know, 4 or 5 months down the road, I'm like, yeah, we probably should have done that when you brought it up the first time. All right, so. Exactly. So yeah, if you're in any kind of logistics or supply chain, or you work for manufacturing, or you outsource stuff, or you're bringing stuff in, anything to do with any of that, you understand right now for since 2020, you understand that the supply chain has just been basically foobarred, like absolutely, completely, totally, 100%. Like you're reacting constantly. There's no stability in logistics and supply chain right now, and there hasn't been since 2020. So. All right, so let's do the giveaway. Everybody's in there? Everybody's in there. All right, giveaway time. Giveaway winners are, let's run it. We'll randomize 3 times. 1, 2, 3. All right, giveaway, Shay Matthews, Eric Acock, and Braden Wright are our 3 mystery pen winners. Please email me your shipping information, and I will get your goodies shipped out to you next week. So once again, Shay Matthews, Braden Wright, and Eric Acock. Congratulations, everybody. I'll try to be better about communicating if we're not going to have a I like completely spaced it out last month. I was so busy, like I didn't even realize. And this month has flown by too, honestly. Like it feels like it was just the April Fools, and and now it's like the end of the month. My initial goal was to have the soft launch of Keras in the middle of April, and that obviously didn't happen. It's just taken a lot more time. It's difficult to sell our more complicated product from Keras Pen Co. on Shopify. So using workarounds and making sure all that stuff functions correctly is just a little bit more time consuming. So it's taking me a more time to develop the site and get the products live. And it just needs to look a certain way. And I was, when I built Everyday Keras, I was using the Shopify like walkthrough process of where they like have like a little AI buddy that kind of like, do this next and do this next, do this next. And basically they only offer you that for like, I don't know, 30 days or something. And I've been working on the Keras Pen Co. site for like 60 or 90 days. And so that functionality is gone. So I'm like trying to remember all the different steps that I need to do to turn on the site to make it like actually function correctly. Like today I just realized, oh, I need to go do all the notification emails. I need to customize all the notification emails because I haven't done any of those. Like that's, yeah. And if I hadn't done that, like you guys would be getting just generic, the Pen Club members would be getting generic notification. Your purchase is whatever. Like it wouldn't be specific to the website. Oh, one thing about the new website, I have brought over successfully customer information. The majority of the customer, like I think it was like 91% of customer information was successfully imported from our current site to the new site. And then about 82% of the orders in the last 5 years. So going back to the beginning of 2021, we went back to January 2021. I brought in all the orders, or attempted to bring in all the orders from January 2021. And about 82% of those orders successfully made it to the Shopify site. So what that means is any orders that are older than January 2021 will not be brought over and will not be potentially be in your account when you log in and set up. Orders are connected to your name and email addresses. In Shopify, they try to rectify all that stuff. So like if you have multiple orders with the same name, shipping address, but different emails, they'll try to rectify all that and they'll lump them all together potentially. So the majority of your orders, the majority of your orders in the last 5 years are going to be on the new site. And if you log in, it should be able to show you all that stuff. There may be some issues with that. I don't know. Like once that's going to be one of the things that we'll have to work through when we launch the site. If you have issues, hey, you know, like it's got a few in here, but I know there's more, and we'll be able to like kind of look behind the scenes and try to link stuff up potentially, especially if you have a list of the orders. If you have an account on our current site and you have a way to like go in there and export the orders or take a screenshot of all your order numbers or whatever, and you know, we can potentially link those up when we, you know, at a later date, if they're ones we can import. There's a few different reasons that it wouldn't let me import orders. The main one was if it does not recognize a purchase method in Shopify for whatever reason, then it will error those out and won't bring them in. So if it isn't able to rectify the type of purchase, PayPal purchases should be fine. Standard credit card purchases should be fine. So like I said, the majority of them did come over. 82% of 36,000 orders were brought over, or 46,000 orders. I don't remember. Multiple thousands of orders, like. So that should be it should be good news. I know a lot of people ask that about Everyday Care. So we're trying to keep your customer information and order information as much of that as possible. So, all right. Any last questions before we shut this down? Going once, going twice. Sorry, I'm a little fidgety and we got off to a crazy weird start and my brain's everywhere. No? Okay. All right. Thank you guys. If you're a Pen Club member, sometime next week you will get the soft launch email, and the link will be in the Facebook group. And then barring any problems, a week after that, roughly, we plan to hard launch the site. If you have any questions afterwards, go ahead and shoot me a message. Thank you guys for being here. I know it was a little bit early. In the future, we'll do these at the normal 3 o'clock time on a Friday. So thank you guys so much.